to C-Fan Sports, the sports show that is dedicated to the Seattle sports fans. My name is Dave. This is Kevin. Kevin, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Training camp, players are showing up. Training camp starts. How can we go wrong, man? It's just another day in paradise.
There's even an Aaron Rodgers sighting in Green Bay today.
Can you?
I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest with you.
I'm okay with it. You know, I like Aaron Rodgers. He's a great quarterback. And I think when we play, it's a competitive game.
All right. Well, I'd rather Aaron Rodgers not be there.
Yeah.
Who am I to? But what we would like to see is we'd like to see you guys subscribe, turn on your notification bells, give us some thumbs up, give us some thumbs down if you want to. Yeah, I know Kevin says no every time, and it's not even funny anymore.
No,
I'm just teasing. Kevin, go ahead. So, Kevin, as we were stating just a few seconds ago, the players are now reporting. They're showing up. Planes are flying into Seattle. There are cars being driven from all over the city. They are coming together to get out on the VMAC.
Yes. Kevin,
what we were going to discuss over the next few minutes is the 5 players that you feel and the 5 players that I feel are the ones that we're going to watch in this training camp. Now, we're not going to use the players that are, pretty much already locks, like Russell Wilson or DK Metcalf or Bobby Wagner or Jamal Adams. We're going to kind of dust all those guys off to the side, and we're going to get to the guys that we feel are bubble players, but that also could be the meat potatoes of this team. And it can really make sure that the cream rises to the top and Seattle heads to another championship. Because in 2013, we knew that Chris Clemens and Red Bryant and those players were going to play well. But the Michael Bennett's and the Cliff Averill, we weren't sure how they were going to improve our team.
Correct.
So this year, we've got some players that we feel that we're most excited are going to improve our chances of making it back to the Super Bowl again. Because right now, to be honest with you, Kevin, playoffs are great. Winning a game in the playoffs would be great. But right now, our window to make it to the Super Bowl, which you have the hat on right there, Super Bowl champions, is open. And now is the time, if we're going to get there, I feel that this is a team that we have constructed in such a manner that it's important. And of that construction pieces, you and I picked out those 5 players each. So, Kevin, what I would love for you to do is give me your number 5, then I will give you my number 5, and then we'll play a little volley back and forth until we come to our number 1 player that we feel is most going to be an impactful and bring us closer to the championship. So, Kevin, without further ado, the people are excited. They're on their feet. Their mouths are wide open. And what they would love to hear, Kevin, is they would love to hear who you have at number 5.
I have Marcus Blair. Marquise Blair.
Okay.
Sorry. At number 5. I can't say his name right. I just want to know, will he be 100% and ready to go when the season starts?
Okay.
I mean, he tore his ACL, had surgery last year. He made it to the OTAs and, the mandatory mini camp.
Yep.
And he was able to catch and do a little bit of jogging, but is he going to be ready? Is he going to be 100%? If he does, is he going to be a backup safety, or is he going to go back to being a nickel, or both?
So, Kevin, how did you feel with Ugo Amadi's play last year? Do you feel that it's more important that he comes in and plays well in the nickel, or do you think that Ugo Amadi did a good enough job to continue to lock down? Because he did look good over those final 8 games of the season.
I thought Ugo Amadi did a great job. I didn't think he was that bad. I think Marquise Blair is just a better all-around athlete and player. I don't know.
I think Marquise is more physical. And I think that physical, especially going up against some of those bigger tight ends and some of those bigger wide receivers and working in the slot, I think if you line up against a slot receiver that's speedy and fast, I think that's when you bring in Ugo Amadi. But I think if we're going to go up against some of these tight ends that that you're seeing throughout the National Football League, I think that's when we bring in Blair. And I think that, I think that's an excellent pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as far as the safety goes, I mean, we got, Quandre Diggs on his last year of the contract. We don't know what's going on with Jamal Adams. They're still way apart on their numbers. He could actually be a starting safety next year on our team. We just don't know. So that's my question. Is he going to be 100% healthy? And is he going to be safety or nickel or both?
All right. Well, hopefully we have that question answered and it's positive, and Marquise is out there just laying the lumber. All right, Kevin. So I'm going to get to my number 5. My number 5 is Akilla Witherspoon. I think that this kid is going to can come in to our camp, and I think it is his job to lose. And I think that all of the rest of the defensive backs that we have are their opportunity to win that position. I think he's already penciled in. I think that they feel that he has got enough out there on the edge to hold down one side of the field. And I think that his size and speed and attitude, and I think the fact that he went through some adversity in San Francisco and was knocked down a few pegs, and now has a second chance to come into our system, and which is basically the same system that they were running in San Francisco. He's not having to learn anything new. I think that it bodes very well for him in a Pete Carroll defense, and the fact that Pete Carroll is as high on him as he is, and the fact that he knows defensive backs better than anybody, I feel great about him locking down one side of the field along with Reed on the other side of the field. Kevin, you have any thoughts on Akilla Witherspoon?
He was actually one of my top 5. I really kind of wanted to pick him, but it was more about the competition. It's more about the other, corners. Are they going to be able to knock him off the perch? That same type of thing. So, you got Pierre, you got Trey Flowers, you got Trey Brown. I mean, these guys are going to try to knock him off, and they're going to give it everything. It's going to be a great competitive group, and I am looking forward to it. So it's a great pick.
Kevin, it's like opening a door and throwing a ham bone into a bunch of lions. Hopefully one of them lions is going to be dominant and is going to really show something out there on the field this year. And we won't miss the Twins at all.
No.
So, all right, Kevin. So let's move along quickly to number 4. Who is your 4th player that you're ready to talk about?
Let's talk about an undrafted free agent, a center, Pierre-Olivier Lestage, or Lestage.
Lestage.
I don't even know if he's going to make the team. He's a little undersized for a center. He's 6'3", 312, small, yeah. However,
for me,
he's going to, his competition is Ethan Posick and Kyle Fuller. I don't think Kyle did very well last year, in my opinion. I think Ethan Posick, for some reason, he's 6'6", 320, but he got pushed around a lot last year. And I don't know why. And so I want to see if this kid can knock off Fuller and be the backup to Ethan, or even surpass Ethan. And it'll be interesting. I just want to see how he does when it's real competition. Because as of right now, we haven't seen anything. He wasn't able to play last year. He wasn't able to go to the Senior Bowl or the East-West Bowl or any of those. So we don't know how it's going to how he's going to be. So he's definitely my number 4 to see what happens.
I think you're absolutely 100% correct. There's a reason that we have not brought in somebody to compete at that center position.
Correct.
And I don't think that it's because Pete Carroll has 100% confidence in Ethan Posick or Kyle Fuller. And I absolutely believe that they feel that they've got a diamond in the rough, and that they're going to be able to bring him along. And I think that if he doesn't make the team, he will absolutely be on the practice squad.
100%, yes.
Yeah, I really feel that that's what's going to happen. Okay, Kevin, well, let's move on to my number 4. My number 4, I went with former 49er the first time. I think I'm going to go back and bring in another former 49er,
Wow.
Kerry Hyder Jr. To me, Kerry Hyder is going to be the Michael Bennett of this defense.
Yes.
He's going to provide that spark. He's going to come from all angles. He's going to come from, he had 9 sacks last year, or 9.5 sacks for the 49ers team, which was depleted. They had, everybody else was on IR, and he just came in and produced.
Yes.
He produced in Detroit. He's produced everywhere that he has been when he has been healthy. And I think not only is he healthy, but I think he's motivated. I think he feels slighted that the San Francisco 49ers didn't feel well enough about him to extend him a long-term or at least some sort of a contract to beat out what Seattle brought to him. I think he's going to be somebody that's going to be able to not only play against the run, but also be able to make an impact on the pass. Kevin, your thoughts on Kerry Hyder?
Couldn't agree more. I'm not worried about the defensive end. I'm not worried about Kerry Hyder Jr. I think with the guys that we have, Pete's going to keep them fresh, and they're just going to be all out. I mean, and I just hope that our defense with those guys in line are going to just be unbelievable, and I hope we lead the league in sacks.
Kevin, here's the reason he's on my list. Not the fact that I doubt any of that, but the simple fact is that Michael Bennett added an extra dimension to our rush. He added something from that. There was a lot of times where he would come off the ball, a second or two early, and I would cover my face and I'm like, oh, come on, Michael. But then there was other times that he was truly the difference in a game, and by the things that he brought. And I believe, I went back and I watched the highlights of this kid. He has got that same first step, that burst, come up through the gaps between the center and the guard, or the guard and the end. And he is in that backfield. He made a lot of plays before, he was not able to finish that sack. So he had a lot of pressures as well. So he is my number 4. I'm looking forward to what he does, not only in preseason, in mini camps, but what he brings week 1 to week 17 and beyond. So that's my number 4.
If he can do that, if he can come in and produce what you're saying that he's going to produce, he is definitely a player to watch.
My player number 4. Kevin, now let's move along to player number 3. Kevin, tell us who your number 3 most anticipated Seahawk is going into this training camp and beyond.
Robert Kimdichie, the defensive tackle. And
you took that one from me. You did.
I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, man. I know. I don't know which Robert's going to show up. Is the Robert from Arizona that's overweight, out of shape, coming into training camp? Now, I know that the OTAs and the mini camp, he was in good shape and he was active. Mm-hmm. But is his head right? Or is he going to be the guy that shows up, that has been saying everything right, that has actually been trying real hard?
Got that chip on his shoulder, baby.
Oh, I'm like, why are you tapping your back? I got what you say. Yeah, I hope that that's the guy. And I want to see that in the preseason. I want to see it in the training camp. And so that's why he's my number 3.
I want this kid to come in and say, I was a number 1 draft pick.
Yes.
I was a number 1 recruited high school player. I was the man that everybody wanted. And now I'm the man that nobody wants.
Right.
And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take control, and I'm going to show everybody that I can be, dare I say, Aaron Donald-ish.
That would be
Aaron
nice.
Donald light. Something that is going to collapse that pocket and make the offenses have to respect that defensive tackle position, like what we'd hope from Reed. Yeah. But, I don't think very few times last year I was like, oh, wow, Jared Reed made a huge play. And so, I'd love to see a defensive tackle come in and make those contributions. Anything else on him, Kevin?
No, I just hope his mind's right and he's ready to go, and he does have that chip on his shoulder.
Absolutely. Well, Kevin, my number 3, you might say is, well, this guy is the same as Russell and the same as DK, but to me, I think this player, I think we have to watch with bated breath, and that is Chris Carson.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Chris Carson. I think that Chris is going to, I watched some of his training videos that he's putting out there where he was doing deadlifts with some ungodly amount of weight and then taking and jumping up onto a platform. And I'm just sitting there going, well, that's not humanly possible. I don't think. I'm pretty sure I don't even know that this man can do that.
No.
This must be animated somehow, but no, he was doing that. And he is training like a beast. And if he can come in and he can say, okay, Maurice Jones-Drew, you could take your 19th ranking and shove it where the sun don't shine and become that power elusive back that he has been so far and leading, give us 1,500 yards, give us 1,300 yards, give us some catches out of the backfield, become that all-around guy and say, Rashad Penny, I'm sorry. They're going to pay me.
Yeah.
And they're going to give me a big contract here in Seattle. And I hope that, again, talking about chips on shoulders, I think that him going out and testing the market and everybody saying, yeah, I don't think so, Chris. And him having to come back to Seattle with his tail between his legs, I think that's really going to motivate him and have him come out there and become an absolute beast on the field, which is what Seattle needs in order to take this offense to the next level. Kevin, your thoughts?
Yes. And my take,
Yes.
My take on Chris Carson. The guy is a beast. I mean, he is not the beast mode, but he's a beast if he's healthy.
We'll call him beast-like.
And if he can stay healthy, easily a 1,200-yard season, easy just the player of the team. He's a stud, but he's got to stay healthy.
You've got to bring the juice all year long. All right, Kevin, let's head on to your number 2 player, that your most anticipated player to be stepping onto the field during this offseason. Kevin, who is number 2 for you?
My number 2 is linebacker Cody Barton.
Oof. Okay.
Question is, without KJ, who's going to start? And we've heard rumors that Darrell Taylor is going to be.
Who?
Darrell Taylor.
Darrell Taylor. I don't know.
Is going to be, maybe the starter, maybe the Bruce Irvin-like player. But Cody Barton, this guy can start on almost any other team in the league. He is a stud. This is his 3rd year, and I think that he makes a quality linebacker. When given the opportunities the last couple of years to play, he's come in and made an impact. I mean, his rookie year, there's a few times he looked lost. But last year, he came in on games, and he dominated games where Bobby, when we were so far ahead, they took Bobby out and let him play. I mean, he's just, I want to see him play. This kid has potential. No, nothing against Darrell Taylor. I think he's going to be an outstanding player for the Seahawks. I want to see Cody Barton play, and that's why he's my number 2.
All right. I can't argue with that. Cody Barton is a quality, but here's the thing, Kevin. What he does is he provides us much needed depth. The fact that Bobby has played as many games and put as many miles on that body as Bobby has, I believe that we need a Cody Barton backing him up. And I think that is more, just as important as Geno Smith is to the offense. I think that Cody Barton is that important to the defense. He is a rock behind Bobby in his insurance policy. If Jordan Brooks goes down, he's also can fill in on that side.
Well, he can play all 3 positions, and I agree with that.
Yeah. So just to look ahead, we may be talking about Darrell Taylor here in a minute.
I kind of figured out the way you looked at me. So
right. All right, Kevin.
Darrell Taylor.
I'm going to talk about my number 2. Kevin, I'm going to talk about a big drink of water for number 2 for me. It is Colby Parkinson. I am excited. He spent most of the season last year hurt because he broke that bone in his foot and didn't really get onto the field. But I think that 6'7" frame in the red zone, in short yardage, in high pressure situations with the hands that he has is going to make Russell Wilson that much more dangerous.
Yep.
Pun intended.
Yeah, I
absolutely. He is. There is no pressure for him to come in and produce, because right now you've got Gerald Everett on one side, you have Will Dissly on the other, and when you come in with a three tight end set, and you have this big giraffe galloping down the center of the field, because I tell you what, Jimmy Graham didn't do a lot of things well for us, but one thing that he did well in Seattle is he played that seam, and he was able to get down the seam, and Russell was able to see that big tall guy, and he was able to make those connections with Jimmy Graham. I look forward to seeing, even if it's 20 to 25 balls, even if he gets, 25 catches, I believe at that point he makes an impact in this team and does the things like, say, for example, a Freddie Swain did last year. Where Freddie Swain wasn't like he was on the field all the time, but he made some impact plays that helped propel Seattle to that NFC West title. And I think that Colby Parkinson is that type of guy where he's going to be able to come in. He's going to create mismatches in certain situations. And I think that a Shane Waldron is going to see the advantages of Colby Parkinson, and he's going to take advantage of that. And absolutely, he's going to be able to use him. And unfortunately, this is a Will Dissly year. He's going to kind of have to put up or shut up, and we've been all excited about Will Dissly. But if Colby comes in and makes that life difficult for him, I could be happy with a Gerald Everett, Colby Parkinson. And I know it's because he's that UW guy. Here's the thing.
He's my boy.
I want to see what Colby can do. Kevin, any thoughts on Colby?
Yeah, he went his whole senior year without dropping a pass.
Right.
That is almost impossible. He's a big target. You put him and DK in the end zone. Those guys are huge targets.
Absolutely.
And they'll go up and get the ball. So, yes, I'm excited to see him play.
You're okay with my number 2 then?
I'm okay with your number 2, but, my boy Will is going to – if he can stay healthy –
he's going to steal the show. Okay.
If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to dominate this year.
Okay, excellent. All right, Kevin, we've got number 1 now. Number 1 in your hearts, number 1 in your programs, and number 1 on your list is –
That's me.
No.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Number 1 in my heart. I'm thinking, okay. No,
right.
My number 1 pick is wide receiver Dwayne Eskridge, our first pick in the draft, who actually was in the second round at 56. My question is, he had a toe injury in the mini camps and the OTAs and wasn't able to really play. And I just started having flashbacks of 2017 of Malik McDowell, 2018, Rashard Penny being injured, 2019, LJ Collier not playing at all. Well, 2020, second round draft pick, Darrell Taylor. Is Dwayne going to be able to play, or is he going to be hurt and we're not going to have him for this season? It's a toe injury. Hopefully he can get over it. I know the guy is fast. I know he's going to be a stud, but will he be healthy and stay healthy so he can play this year instead of sitting on the injured list like all the other guys that I mentioned from 2017 to 2020? So that's why he's on my number 1 list. I just want to see him healthy, and it scared me with the toe injury.
I think, Kevin, I think that the thing that he brings the most to our offense is the thing that can be most impeded by a toe injury, and that's that dimension of speed.
Exactly.
And he is able to move around in the middle of the field and get into the places where Russell can find him and sit down in those zones. And then after he catches the football, that's when he turns on the yak machine and just goes nuts.
Yeah.
So I can agree with that, Kevin. I mean, you didn't have to hit me in the chest with a Malik McDowell shot, but
Sorry, man. I
know.
It's
like
painful.
there you go.
Well, For me, this kid is going to be a stud. He's fast. He can catch. He's going to be a game changer
Right.
if he can get on the field. And that's my concern. That's why he's my number one pick.
He reminds me a little bit of Trey Kill from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And we all know what he can do in an offense. He turns an offense on its ear.
Yes.
All right, Kevin. So we've waded through all of your number 5 through number 1. I've put 4 picks out there. My number 1, you kind of stole my thunder a little bit.
Sorry, man.
Darrell Taylor.
Yep.
He is taking over a position that is important in our defense, that if he can bring pressure from that weak side to the quarterback, and if he sets the edge in the running game, which is something that KJ did very well, was setting that edge and making sure that we didn't have a lot of runners get outside, that he was able to take on those blockers and shed those blockers and be able to keep some of those runs to a minimum. I think Darrell Taylor, to me, is that guy that is probably, not only is he having to learn defensive end, but he's also having to learn weak side linebacker. And they're putting a lot of hopes and dreams in this kid and what he can bring to our defense. And that's why, to me, I'm going to be most definitely watching him through the camp and watching the preseason games. God, I'm giddy for the preseason games. I'm giddy just to get there and watch, quarters 1 through 4, so I can see what all of these guys and you and I have been, just talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I want to see what they bring to the field. So with that being said, Kevin, my number 1 guy that I'm watching, because I think that his presence is going to improve this defense just that much more. Kevin, what are your thoughts? You've kind of already like spoiled the milk a little bit on what you think about Darrell Taylor. Is you want Cody Barton in there? So I'm team Darrell. Your team Cole. Gosh, I don't know why I can't say his name.
Cody Barton.
Barton.
Yeah. For me, I think Darrell Taylor, if he's got the most question marks on him.
Right.
We didn't see him at all last year. Yeah. All we heard from Pete towards the end of the season is wait till you see this kid, wait till you see this kid, wait till you see this kid. In the OTAs, in the mini camp, this kid is outstanding. He's an amazing player. So the question is, us as fans, we haven't really been able to see that yet. So yes, there are so many questions about this guy. And, the reason I picked Cody Barton is because of the fact that he has done it and he can do it over
I don't think he's the athlete that Darrell Taylor is.
No, I agree with that.
With all that being said, Kevin, you've given your 5, I've given my 5. We've got some differing opinions. If you agree with Kevin, make sure you put it in the comments down below. If you agree with yours truly, make sure you also give me a thumbs up, smile, and tell me I'm doing a hell of a job. Kevin, as always,
I want to see somebody else say, give us your 5.
Yeah.
Tell us who you're excited to see
in the comments.
Yeah. Tell us who you're excited to see.
All right, Kevin, with all that being said, I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. Kevin, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
All right, peace out.